On July 6, 1957, John Lennon, 16, met Paul McCartney, 15. It was at St. Peter's, Woolton's Parish Church in Liverpool, where John was performing with the Quarrymen at a church fete and garden party. It was Saturday afternoon, and Paul had gone to the fete with his buddy Ivan Vaughan to see John's skiffle group, the Quarry Men. The group included Eric Griffiths, Colin Hanton, Rod Davis, John Lennon, Pete Shotton, and Len Gary. The group got its name from Quarry Bank High School, where they all attended. The Quarry Men performed on a temporary stage in a field behind the church. John played guitar and sang, while Eric Griffiths played guitar, Colin Hanton played drums, Rod Davies played banjo, Pete Shotton played washboard, and Len Gary played the inevitable tea-chest bass. Things began in the early afternoon with a short parade around this upmarket district of Liverpool, with a couple of lorries transporting the Rose Queen on the first and the Quarry Men on the second. The most difficulty for John and his bandmates was to remain upright on the back of the moving van while continuing to perform. Once in the field behind the church, things were a little easier. In the evening, the Quarry Men performed at the Grand Dance in the church hall across from the church, alongside the George Edwards Band. Ivan Vaughan had occasionally played tea-chest bass with the Quarry Men, and he was the one who introduced Paul to John. McCartney, dressed in a white jacket with silver flecks and black drainpipe trousers, spoke with John briefly before playing some songs, including a medley of Little Richard songs, Eddie Cochran's 20 Flight Rock, and Gene Vincent's Bebopalula. Paul says, "I remember John singing a song called Come Go With Me. He had heard it on the radio. He didn't recognize the lines, but he recognized the chorus. He made up the rest on his own. I just thought, well, he looks good, he sings well, and he appears to be a great lead singer. Of course, he had his spectacles off, so he appeared really suave. I remember John being good." After that, John and Pete Shotton discussed whether or not to invite Paul to join the Quarry Men. They felt it was a fine idea, and a few weeks later, Shotton saw Paul riding his bike in Woolton and invited him to join. After some deliberation, Paul agreed to join. The rest, as they say, is history.